What is going on, troopers, and welcome back to the channel. And I am so glad to see you guys once again. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded the video. I've been super caught up with school, but now I have a little bit of free time to do this video. So today I am going to show you guys a 3D printed helmet. 3D printed helmets because I 3D printed a lot. And yes, I got myself a 3D printer. So I thought I would get a 3D printer because I wanted to do my own projects and I wanted to do my own Star Wars stuff, and mainly just to, you know, do a lot of cosplay stuff with it. So here, I just want to show you guys, this is a finished product of a Captain Rex animated Phase 2 helmet and also a Clone Trooper animated Phase 2 grunt. So this video is about showing you guys the process of how I made these helmets, from slicing them up in the computer to putting them together, painting them and everything. So it's going to be a video series of me doing the helmet. So this is going to be the first part of the tutorial slash journey of me finishing these helmets, and I hope you guys get something out of this. And if you guys are thinking of 3D printing your own helmets, I hope you guys learn a lot from this video, because we are going to talk a lot in this video about 3D printing Star Wars helmets. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. Here we are at the first part of the helmet builds. So as you can see, the helmet first starts off as a 3D print file. So as you can see, I have Captain Rex loaded up here on Meshmixer, because as you can see, it's a full helmet. So I got the file from Thingiverse, from Colonia, so it's actually free to download. So if you guys want a Phase 2 Captain Rex helmet, you can go ahead and check that out on Thingiverse. So what we're gonna do here right now is that we are gonna split the helmet into 3 parts, because although if your 3D printer is big enough, it could print the whole helmet in one whole piece. But the thing about that is it's prone to cause large errors. It might be prone to causing big errors, and we can't really risk that, because it's gonna cost a lot of time and a lot of filament, and we can't it's going to be really hard if, you know, unfortunately there's going to be a printing error when you print the helmet, probably around halfway or maybe 90% of the way. So what we're going to do is that we are going to split the helmet into 3 parts. So we are going to start off with going to edit, and then we're going to go and click plane cut. So as you can see, this sort of table appears. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off first with the top of the helmet. So I'm just going to zoom in right there, so as you can see. So what we're going to do is we are going to click this arrow here, this blue arrow, and put it up and place it up here right above the visor right there. And then you're going to zoom in and just see how well your division is. So I went a little too far, so we're going to go down a bit. So usually the cut is here towards the, I think, 1/4 of the circle here, just above the visor right there. So you get a nice clean division. So I'm going to zoom out, double check if the cut is okay. I think I should go a little bit higher. Yeah, just for good measure. Alright, a little more. Yeah, I think I should go down a bit again. Alright, I think that's just fine. So after you've you've decided to make the cut, and if everything is fine, you can go ahead here on the upper left. What you're gonna do is you're gonna click slice keep both, and then click accept. So as you can see, nothing happened. So again, we're gonna go back here and we're gonna click on separate shells, and there you go. As you can see, the helmet is now in two pieces. You have the top dome and the bottom half. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna click the bottom half, and we are gonna go back to edit and go back to plain cut. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the front part, and we're gonna separate the bottom part into two pieces, so being the back and the front. So we're just gonna rotate that table, and then we're just gonna click that blue arrow again and then cut it in half. Okay, so I went a little too far again, so just here. All right, I think that's fine. Again, slice keep both, accept, and then separate shells. All right, so now we have the Captain Rex helmet in three separate pieces. So now what you're going to do is you're going to export the pieces and then load them up to your software where you can put your supports and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and export these three pieces separately and then move over to Cura. So here we are, guys. As you can see, I've just loaded up the front part of the helmet in Cura. This is what it's going to look like when you separate the helmet in three pieces. So this is the front part of the helmet, as you can see. So what we're going to do here now is we are going to put supports on the build. So I am using Cura 4.8 by Ultimaker. It's free to download. It's a very highly recommended software, especially for beginners like me. It's really easy to use, really easy to navigate, and it's got a lot of plugins that are really useful. So again, right now what we're gonna do is we are gonna put supports on this. Basically, you can see that there are red highlighted parts on the helmet or on the build. So those are what you call overhangs. So it's basically parts of the helmet where it's going to need supports in order for the print or the build to print properly. So what you can do here in Cura is they have an auto-generated support feature. So basically, if you go to settings and you click this box, it's going to automatically put supports on these overhangs right here. So there is an option to do it everywhere or just the parts where it's touching the build plate. So for me, of course, you want to have the supports everywhere. But of course, auto-generated supports, for me personally, I don't really recommend it because it kind of costs a lot more filament when you do auto-generate supports, and also it tends to put supports on parts of the build that don't really need support. So again, if you're the type of person who wants to save on filament, then auto-generated supports is not really for you. But luckily, if you're that type of person, there is a plugin that you can download from the marketplace, which is called Custom Supports. It's a community plugin that you can download for free and install on Cura. So that's what we are going to be using today. So just gonna click exit on the settings. So as you can see, we've got the red parts, or the red highlighted parts, which are the overhangs. So I'm just gonna click the helmet. By the way, just in case you're wondering if the helmet would be too small for you or too big for you, you can adjust the size of the helmet right here on the scale. So right now it's currently at 100%. You can go as low as 90 if you have a small head. You can go 95 if you have just a fairly average size head. So right now, currently, we go to the original scale, which is 100. This is honestly too big for me, so I scaled my helmet down to 95, just so it's sized perfectly with the Galactic Armor helmets. So yeah, all right. So moving on. So I'm gonna click on custom supports on the lower left of Cura, and then what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put supports on the lower part of the build, which is the part where it's going to touch the build plate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click drop to build plate, increase the size to 10, and there's an option if you want to do cube or a cylinder, but personally a cube would be better. So you're just gonna click the red highlighted parts, and it's going to generate the supports you need. So if you're not happy with how that support was placed, or you made a mistake, just press Ctrl Z, or you can click that support and press delete and it'll go away, and then you could start all over. So as you can see, I'm just putting supports here, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So if you guys are nervous about putting your own supports or doing custom supports, it's perfectly fine, because for me, this was a bit of a learning curve. It took me a while to really figure out what works for me best, what works for the build best. So yeah, it was a lot of trial and error, and so here we are. As you can see, the front part of the helmet is done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put custom supports on the inside and on the visor. So I'm gonna go back and lower the size to 7. I'm gonna put supports here. Oh, remember to always check if the option to drop to build plate is checked or not. So we're just gonna go ahead and unclick that, and then gonna put supports here, put one here just to be sure, another one here on the left side, sorry, and then I'm gonna put supports here. So supports are very important because it's basically the foundation of your helmet. As the printer goes along, there are some parts that is going to need supports. Otherwise, if you don't put supports on these parts, your build is gonna turn into spaghetti, is what they call it, spaghetti print. So I actually had that problem earlier and made the mistake of forgetting to put supports on the visor, so I had to deal with that. It was a real pain, but yeah, like I said, it's a learning process. You will make mistakes along the way, but that's fine, because it's also a trial and error, a learning process, and just be patient with this. Just be patient with how you're doing it. So we're gonna go on here. So I increased the size to 10 so that we don't use a lot of supports. We just use the right amount of supports for these parts. All right, and then lastly, we are gonna go to the visor. So like I said, it's really important that supports are placed on the visor, because if not, it's not gonna print properly, and you're gonna end up wasting time and of course filament. So I am currently using, speaking of filament, I am currently using PLA Plus from eSun. So the printing temperature for that is around 200, and then the build plate temperature is set around 60 to 65. So that is my current settings for the filament. As for the other settings that I have, I am currently on 0.3 layer height, 5% infill, and trihexagon infill density. So here we are. So we finally put all of the supports, and then what you're gonna do is you're going to click slice. So this is going to basically, Cura is going to render this is going to render the print and tell us how long and how much filament it's going to cost. So we're just gonna wait for that to finish. Alright, so it just finished slicing. So here we are. It's gonna take 2 days, 2 hours and 10 minutes, so roughly around 30 hours or more. And then it's going to cost us 682 grams of filament. So that's how much you're gonna need to print this first piece right here, and that's how long. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna click preview just to see if you've done the right placements on the supports. You're gonna click preview, and then we're just gonna wait for that to load. Okay, so there we go. All right, so as you can see, this is what the build is gonna look like after it's done printing. So as you can see, we've got the supports here on the visor and the supports here on the inside. So that's actually really good placement. So yeah, so if you guys are happy and satisfied with how you've placed the supports on the helmet, the next thing that you're gonna do is save the file to your flash drive, and then put it up on the printer, and then just print the thing. And of course, before I almost forgot to tell you guys is that another important thing that you have to look out for is build plate adhesion. So there is an option here in the settings called build plate adhesion. You guys need to use that. I think it is very necessary that you guys use build plate adhesion. So I'm using Brim because it's going to help your supports stick to the build plate, because sometimes there are tendencies where the printer moves too much and it's going to cause the supports to fall off or pop out of the build plate, and I have had that problem, and it's really hassle and a really waste of time and filament again. So it's very important that you guys have the Brim set up, or the build plate adhesion. You can use a raft or a Brim, it totally depends on you guys, but for me, I'm using a Brim. So alright, after that, again, if you're happy with everything, if everything checks out, save the file to your flash drive, put it in your printer, and then just wait until the print is finished. Alright guys, so after you're all done doing the stuff in Cura, so this is basically what it's going to look like while the helmet is printing on your printer. So as you can see here, we're already halfway through the print, and it's looking really well. As you can see, the supports are attached real nice, and you've got the build plate adhesion real nicely. And then here we're about almost 70%, we're probably 90% done here, so we're just waiting for the print to finish. And then after that, when everything is done, you're gonna take it off the build plate. Okay, so after everything is done, what you're gonna do is you're gonna let the printer rest, spray some water around the perimeter of the print, and then just take it off carefully, and you're done.
Alright guys, so after your printer is done printing, this is what it's going to look like off the printer. If you guys are wondering why this isn't the Captain Rex Phase 2 helmet, I printed a lot of helmets. I printed 4 actually for this build, because I wanted to expand my helmet collection. So this is the Clone Trooper Animated Phase 2 Grunt. I got the file from Galactic Armory, but it's very similar to the Captain Rex helmet, how I did what it's going to look like and stuff like that. So as you can see, the supports are still connected to the helmet. You are gonna have to take the supports out of the 3 parts that you printed. As you can see, this is the face, the dome, and you've got
the back part of the helmet. So you don't have to worry about the supports because they come off really easy. As you can see, you're just gonna have to snap them off like that. So it's gonna come off real nicely. So yeah. So after you're done taking off the supports, what you're gonna do next is you're going to connect all the 3 pieces to make it one full solid helmet, and that I am going to show you guys on the next video. So this is just the first part of the build, and I hope you guys learned something, especially for those of you who want to get into 3D printing. It's such a learning curve, and I hope that I was able to give you guys something that you'll be able to use when you eventually jump on into this hobby. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching.